Okay, her name is Chloe Cole. You need to listen to her testimony. I don't need to say too much. She's gonna tell you everything you need to know. Link in the description below. Like and subscribe to the page. Click the bell icon for more. Let's get to the heart of the message.
My name is Chloe Cole, and I am a detransitioner. Another way to put that would be, I used to believe that I was born in the wrong body, and the adults in my life whom I trusted affirmed my belief, and this caused me lifelong, irreversible harm. I speak to you today as a victim of one of the biggest medical scandals in the history of the United States of America. I speak to you in the hope that you will have the courage to bring the scandal to an end and ensure that other vulnerable teenagers, children, and young adults don't go through what I went through. At the age of 12, I began to experience what my medical team would later diagnose as gender dysphoria. I was well into an early puberty, and I was very uncomfortable with the changes that were happening to my body. I was intimidated by male attention, and when I told my parents that I felt like a boy, in retrospect, all I meant was that I hated puberty, that I wanted this newfound sexual attention to go away, that I looked up to my brothers a little bit more than I did to my sisters. I came out as transgender in a letter I sent on the dining room table. My parents were immediately concerned. They felt like they needed to get outside help from medical professionals, but this proved to be a mistake. It immediately set our entire family down a path of ideologically motivated deceit and coercion. The gender specialist I was taken to see told my parents that I needed to be put on puberty-blocking drugs right away. They asked my parents a simple question: would you rather have a dead daughter or a living transgender son? The choice was enough for my parents to let their guard down, and in retrospect, I can't blame them. This was the moment that we all became victims of so-called gender-affirming care. I was fast-tracked onto puberty blockers and then testosterone. The resulting menopausal-like hot flashes made focusing on school impossible. I still get joint pains and weird pops in my back, but they were far worse when I was on the blockers. A month later, when I was 13, I had my first testosterone injection. It's caused permanent changes to my body. My voice will forever be deeper, my jawline sharper, my nose longer, my bone structure permanently masculinized, my Adam's apple more prominent, my fertility unknown. I look in the mirror sometimes and I feel like a monster. I had a double mastectomy at 15. They tested my amputated breast for cancer. And I was cancer-free, of course. I was perfectly healthy. There was nothing wrong with my still developing body or my breasts, other than that, as an insecure teenage girl, I felt awkward about it. After my breasts were taken away from me, the tissue was incinerated. Before I was able to legally drive, I had a huge part of my future womanhood taken from me. I will never be able to breastfeed. I struggle to look at myself in the mirror at times. I still struggle to this day with sexual dysfunction. And I have massive scars across my chest. And the skin grafts that they took of my nipples are weeping fluid today. And they were grafted into a more masculine positioning, they said. After surgery, my grades in school plummeted. Everything that I went through did nothing to address my underlying mental health issues that I had. And my doctors, with their theories on gender, thought that all my problems would go away as soon as I was surgically transformed into something that vaguely resembled a boy. Their theories were wrong. The drugs and surgeries changed my body, but they did not and could not change the basic reality that I am and forever will be a female. When my specialist first told my parents that they could have a dead daughter or a live transgender son, I wasn't suicidal. I was a happy child who struggled because she was different. However, at 16, after my surgery, I did become suicidal. I'm doing better now, but my parents almost got the dead daughter promised to them by my doctors. My doctors had almost created the very nightmare they said they were trying to avoid. So what message do I want to bring to American teenagers and their families? I didn't need to be lied to. I needed compassion. I needed to be loved. I needed to be given therapy to help me work through my issues, not affirm to my delusion that by transforming into a boy, it would solve all my problems. We need to stop telling 12-year-olds that they were born wrong, that they are right to reject their own bodies and feel uncomfortable with their own skin. We need to stop telling children that puberty is an option, that they can choose what kind of puberty they will go through, just so they can choose what clothes to wear or what music to listen to. Puberty is a rite of passage to adulthood, not a disease to be mitigated. Today, I should be at home with my family celebrating my 19th birthday, and instead I'm making a desperate plea to my elected representatives. Learn the lessons from other medical scandals like the opioid crisis, to recognize that doctors are human too, and sometimes they are wrong. My childhood was ruined along with thousands of detransitioners that I know through our networks. This needs to stop. You alone can stop it. Enough children have already been victimized by this barbaric pseudoscience. Please let me be your final warning. Thank you.
Wow. The courage of this young lady is something to see. Sad. This is the reality, friends. This is what our culture has been doing to children. You heard it. From the mouth of a person who's been there, done that, and came out and speak against it. She's being blackballed, called all type of names. The internet went after her. They call her all kind of crazy name for not going along with the flow, allowing the surgeries and everything else because she chose to be a detransitioner, going back to the sex that God has given her. They went hard after her, but she's bold. She's not afraid. Friends, we live in a very, how could I say this? We live in a time where Jesus speaks about I think it's in Luke 17, like evil continually. There was a time when Jesus talks about, if you go to Luke chapter 17, I'm going to share this with you quickly. Jesus says, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days when the Son of Man is revealed. So what happened in the days of Noah, and also in the days of Lot, it tells you that there were fire and brimstone. But in the days of Noah, it tells you that they did eat, they did drink, they married wives, and they were given in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. The flood came and destroyed them all. What I'm talking about here is the perspective of the people in Noah's day is somewhat similar to our perspective. Look what it says. There were giants in the earth in those days, and the sons of men came unto the daughters of God, and they bare children to them, and the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. By the way, that could be another study in itself. But this right here, men of renown here, is men of great intellectual advancement, or you can say achievement. These were men that had great knowledge. So the issue was the knowledge that they had became their curse. Like, it's crazy. Knowledge could be a blessing, but knowledge could be a curse, especially when it is used outside of God's will. So these doctors today, they think they're creating something new, but really they are carrying out something evil. God saw that the wickedness of men was great in the earth. As a result of this intermarrying, the children of men and the daughters of men and the sons of God. By the way, that's not angels. That's not what people like to say, angels laying with men. Angels can't reproduce. That's not biblical. That's a lie. We can study this further. But the point is, this was going on with the people who believe in God and those who don't believe in God. There was a mixing. There was this amalgamation of believers and non-believers, and it created a generation of people who hated God. It's crazy how that works. Same is true today, right? When the church is mixing with the world, things get worse. They don't get better. Now, God saw that the wickedness of men was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. This is what we're reading into. This is what you're hearing. We have people whose imagination is incorrect. The same is true for the children. But the same is also true for those doctors who are covetous at heart. A lot of them are greedy. And their imagination is evil, the Bible says, continually. So it's not like the truth is not out there. And what's disturbing to me about some of this stuff, people has been speaking for a long time, and many of these transitioners have spoken, It doesn't matter because the imagination of the thoughts of their hearts was only evil continually. And same is true today. Look what it says. Ever learning, but never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. There's been other countries who realize this is not a good thing we're doing to children. They stop. But here in this country, with all the supposed knowledge we have, with all this doctor and advancements that we have, the greatest country in the world, we are so slow to learn that this stuff doesn't work. We are hurting children. Anytime you go against God, it's always a problem anyway. It's always been, it never works. You may think it works, but it never really actually does. Ever learning, but never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. This is what we're looking at today. But you know, God is wiser than men. None of this stuff is shocking to him. Because one thing he said, and I believe the same is true. You see all this transgender stuff. For those of us who believe in God, stand firm. This is what's going to happen. All things are going to work together for good to them that love the Lord. Romans 8:28. And to those who are the called according to his purpose. All things are going to work together for good. Even though this stuff may not make much sense right now, for as diabolical as it seems, God is going to turn this matter around. And he's already doing that. He's already doing that. He's going to turn this matter around for his glory. I don't know how he's going to do it, but I'm sure he's going to do it to bring the truth to the surface at the end of the day. Everything is going to work out according to God's plan. But for people who are detransitioning, who's been through these surgeries, who are suffering as a result of that, I pray that the grace of God be with you. The culture has lied to you. They lied to you, man. They lied to you. They didn't tell you the truth. They didn't deal with your mental health. They were greedy. They went and cut body parts because they had evil imagination from the very beginning. Much more could be said about that, but I'll end the video right here. Link in the description below without my commentary. Share your thought and perspective with me. Like and subscribe to the page. Click the bell icon for more. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one. Bye.